Hi, welcome to the channel. This is Beyond Authentic Health and Beauty. My name's Lisa and today we are on the beauty side of things, very definitely on the beauty side of things. So I've created this grey sort of smoky and silver eye moment along with a bold red lip. This entire look has been created using very, very affordable drugstore makeup. So if you want to see how I did it, stay tuned. I've already done all my skincare, so I'm starting today with the Maybelline Face Studio Primer. Next is my favourite standalone foundation. This is the Maybelline Dream Radiant Liquid in the shade Ivory. And I'm just applying this with a damp beauty sponge. For concealer, I'm using the L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Concealer in the shade Light. I'm just tapping that in with a finger. My setting powder today is the Revolution Super Matte Powder in Translucent, and I'm just using a puff brush to push that into place over the concealed areas. Now I'm using that same powder with a very loose fluffy brush just to lightly set the rest of my face. For today's look I'm using the Revolution Prime and Lock Eyeshadow Primer. This is a huge doe foot applicator, so it's super easy to use, and I'm just patting that into place with the finger as well. For eyeshadow, I'm using one of my go-to palettes. This is the Reloaded Blackout palette by Revolution. This is one of their £5 palettes, and I've got to say it's one of the most well-loved and well-used items in my collection. Using this light fluffy spectrum brush, I'm starting with the matte white shade and using this on my inner corner and up as a brow highlight. Now this will help bounce light and also make the blending a little easier later. Moving on to the palest grey shade now, and I'm using this as my transition shade. I'm really going for a soft smoky edge by blending it into that white. Because of my hooded eyes, I have to take the colour slightly higher up than most of you will need to if your eyes aren't as hooded as mine. Just adjust this height to suit your eyes. I'm also just extending the edges out a fair bit. This next grey is a few shades darker but also a little warmer than the first, and this suits my skin tones a little better than a cool grey, which would leave me looking like one of Romero's Living Dead. Again, adjust this to suit your own skin tone. I'm starting on the outer corner and working this shade along the crease to darken that up, but I'm also going back to the outer corner and lifting it slightly to deal with that hood. Now again, this helps minimise the look of a deep hood. Next, I'm taking a small amount of the pale grey shade that I've already used and just using this to soften the edges and blend that deeper shade out. Taking a packing brush, I'm picking up some of the shimmer silvery grey and placing this along my mobile lid. You can use your finger here if you prefer, or for an even more precise look, you could even use a primer or concealer and do a cut crease. Next, I'm spraying my brush before taking a little of the shimmer white and placing it in my inner corner. To really bring the sparkle, I'm using Collection's Glam Crystal Dazzling Eyeliner in silver, starting with the inner corner and then lining my eyes but leaving a little gap between the liner and my lash line. Next, taking the Black Renaissance Flick Eyeliner by Revolution, I'm starting with the flick to create a super bold line and then lining my eyes tight to the lash line. I find using a felt brush tip horizontally gives me a much smoother fluid eyeline. Now here I'm using the point to precisely fill any little skip areas because of my 45-year-old skin. Now if you're young or you've had work done, you might not need to do this. Going back to the silvery glitter eyeliner, I'm just reinforcing the sparkle and extending the liner to the tip of the wing. Again, I'm using that brush horizontally. I'm allowing all the liner to fully dry down by moving on to blush. This is the Blusher Reloaded in Pink Lady by Revolution. I place my blush quite high up on my cheekbones and then go higher towards my temples. But I do like a little wash on my apples because, you know, I'm old. Now I'm just softening the blush a little by going back in with that super fluffy powder brush by Eco Tools and a little of the Stay Matte powder, and I'm just veiling that colour down ever so slightly. I'm careful not to add too much powder here as I don't want to add any dryness. No one wants cake face. For bronzer I'm using this Born to Sparkle palette and taking this warmer tone. I'm applying it to my temples and hairline before using the cooler tone shade as a contour. Now on me this is a really subtle contour shade and isn't too pigmented, so it's really easy to use. I'm also just placing a little down each side of my nose before again just blending it out a little using that super fluffy brush. For highlighter, I'm using this e.l.f. Glow Gleam Beam Highlighter palette and I'm using the palest white sparkly shade. I'm placing this on the high point of my cheeks, a little on my nose and on my Cupid's bow. For mascara, I'm using one of my favourites, Revolution's Big Lash Mascara, and I'm taking my time to really build this up. I'm wiggling the wand through the lashes, rotating it to get an even coat, and I'm even going in multiple times. Now this really builds my lashes and gives me that bold look. For brows, I'm using the oldest product here. This is the Freedom, which doesn't exist anymore, Duo Brow Powder in medium brown. To line my lower lashes, I'm using that warm grey tone on a Charles Fox chisel brush and adding a soft layer under the eye and smoking this out. For this bold glam look, I'm using the Revolution lipstick in Atomic Ruby. This is similar in tone to my all-time favourite red, which is Ruby Woo by MAC, but this is much more affordable. And that's the finished look, ready for a party, a red carpet or a hot date with hubby and some Netflix. As Christine might say, it's time for a mandatory narcissistic montage. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ding my bell so that YouTube notifies you each and every time I upload a video. Well, that's it for me today, and as I always say, stay you, stay safe, stay authentic, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!